To our yoga practice. For props today, I have the blanket that I'm utilizing underneath my bottom right now. I'm going to use that again at the end of practice, and also nice to have for knees, bottoms, all those things to pad up. Blocks are nice to have as well. Anything like books or anything like that can definitely substitute for that. So today's practice, we're just going to work on some strengtheners of our core area. And when I talk about our core, it's not just always our abdominals. We'll be working on that kind of that band around towards that lower back as well. We're doing some heart openers, some shoulder stretches, and some hip stretches as well. So just a full overall good body strengthener and stretching. So to begin with, I'd like to start with our alternate nose breathing. But let's just go ahead and just find our space to start with. Kind of shift and adjust, maybe tipping a little bit forward with the pelvis, and then rolling back on the spine just a little bit so you can find that length and that height. Let's draw the hands together at heart center. We're just going to rub the palms, uniting left and right brain, left and right body, and just waking up the nadis and all those nerve endings that reside in the hands. We have thousands of nerve endings in the hands. A little bit more, generating heat and friction here. And then finding some stillness, bring the hands to the heart. Let's close the eyes down and just take a few breaths. No special technique, just checking in. And just feeling how we are doing. Welcoming ourselves to our space and to our practice. Letting go of our day. Letting go of any of our to-do lists for after this practice. Let's take one more deep inhale in. Part the lips and exhale and all go. Beautiful. I'm going to release the hands down to the lap, and then I'm just going to create this like I love you mudra with the hands. So I'm going to take that thumb and we're going to bring it gently to that right nostril to start with. So just covering up that right nostril with the thumb. And I'm going to inhale through the left nostril. And then taking the thumb over to that left nostril, exhale out of the right nostril. Now inhale on that same side. So now we're inhaling on that left nostril, right nostril, sorry. Then close that nostril down and exhale out that opposite side. Keeping the thumb where it is, inhale in. At the top of that inhale, just move that thumb over and exhale out. Inhaling again. Taking the thumb over to that nostril, exhale out. Inhale on this side. Top of the inhale, take the nostril over, close that down, and exhale out. Just doing this a few more times with your own rhythm, your own breath. Inhale in. Close the nostril down, exhale the opposite side. Inhale again. Close the nostril down, exhale out. Continue for a few more rounds. This is an excellent way, again, to unite the right and left body, that left and right mind. It's very soothing. And it's okay if we mix up and accidentally close the nostril down before we get to that other side. It's okay. Just take your time. Inhale again. Closing that nostril down, exhaling out the opposite nostril. Inhale again. Close it down, exhale out. Go ahead and finish up wherever you're at. And then release the hand down to the lap. Close the eyes down and just notice if you feel a little bit more relaxed, a little bit more present in the body. Gentle the eyes open, and let's bring the hands into heart center, pressing palms together. Inhale, take the hands above the head. Exhale, float the palms down towards the earth. Again, hands come into heart center. Draw that great big circle. Gaze comes up and all the way back down. One more time. Inhale, hands come into heart. Gaze follows the fingertips as we raise up. And then press the earth or press the air way down to the earth. Right hand is going to come down onto the earth. Left hand is going to reach up and overhead. Find this nice deep stretch here into side body. Take a few moments to breathe here. Now, keeping that right hand down on the earth, we're just going to embrace the side of the right ear and then gently start to bring the head over to that left shoulder. So we're not pulling or tugging here, we're just adding a little extra gravity, holding on to the side of the head right alongside the temple here. Now, it might feel good just to find stillness and keep that right hand down onto the earth or block. Or we might find a little bit of movement with that right hand. Might feel good to just kind of rock it back and forth. Or maybe raise it up towards the sky. And just like a little fallen leaf, let it drift down. Might feel good to find little circles. Spending a few more moments to explore here, making sure that we are not tightening in the lower half of the body. Releasing any tension on the face. And then when you're ready, go ahead and gentle that hand, that floating hand, into a fist. And we'll rotate the wrist back and very slowly forward. Just a few times, rotating that wrist. I want you to really slow it down so you can feel that connection all the way from that fist into the wrist, up the side of the arm, and into the scalenes of the neck. And then finding some stillness, release that fist, bring that hand down to the earth. We're just going to take that upper hand around to the other side of the temple and then just gently press the head back up to center. Releasing that hand, let's find that stretch once again to the side body. And then inhaling all the way up, we're going to turn the torso over towards that left knee and then bow the hands down, bow the nose down towards that knee. Might feel good to find a little bit of a shift and adjust in that upper body, maybe a little rocking. Ideally, we're keeping that right hip bone, that right sit bone down onto the earth. Staying here for just a few more breaths. And then coming up onto the fingertips, we're just going to walk the hands to center and melt down into a fold here. Once again, might feel good to find this little rock, little sway, little head nod. And then pressing into the hands, go ahead and come back up to that tall spine. If you are sitting cross-legged, let's go ahead and switch the legs out. Doesn't matter which one you have in the front. We're just going to switch that awkward, that one that we don't normally go with. If you have the legs extended, that works just fine too. Inhale, take the hands up high. Now we're going to float that left hand down onto the earth as we reach the right hand up and overhead. Really good deep side body stretch. And then come on up, just taking the hand over to that right side of the face. Start to guide the ear over towards that left shoulder. And then we're just going to find that same exploration with that wave of that left hand, or that, yeah, left hand. Feeling pretty good, so kind of zoning out here. So maybe we're drifting the hand side to side. Or maybe we like that gentle little leaf floating down. Lots of different options here. And in this exploration, just notice if this side is feeling a little tighter, or maybe it's feeling a little more open. Just a reminder of that hand on the head, that we're not dragging or pulling the head down. We're just utilizing that for a little extra gravity so we can get in a little deeper into the top of the trapezoid, into that scalenes of the neck, the top of the shoulder. Then we're just going to gentle that left hand into a fist. And then find that slow rotation of the wrist. Breathing into the side of the neck. Breathing into these sensations. And then release the clasp of that fist. Gentle the hand down to the earth. Glide the hand across the top of the head. And then just press the head back up to center. Hand is on the earth, still on that right side, or left side, sorry. Right hand extends overhead, stretch and reach again. And then press into that palm to raise all the way up. We're going to turn the torso towards that opposite side. So coming down on the right side, hands plant down, nose comes towards that right knee. Stillness is great, or rocking here is great too. Let's just come up onto those fingertips and walk the hands towards center. And once again, we melt down into the fold. Really breathe into the back door of the heart. And press into the hand and rise all the way back up to seated. Nice. Hands are on top of the knees. Roll the shoulders up towards the ears. And then relax them down. Again, great big deep shoulder roll, bringing it up towards the ears. Squeeze at the top and relax down. One more time. Squeeze the shoulders up. And exhale, release it down. Releasing the soles of the feet on the earth. The knees are bent up towards the sky. Hands come behind, and we're just going to windshield wiper side to side, getting that blood flow into the legs from that seated position for a little bit. Just drifting one knee into center while the other knee comes out to the side. Just a couple more. These nice rotations. Feeling the inward and the external opening into the hips. Perfect. Now bringing the soles of the feet together, we're just creating this diamond shape here. So we're a little further out than we normally are when we're in our butterfly shape. We want some more space here. Inhaling, taking the hands up high, and then bring them out to that T shape. I'm gonna cross, let's start by crossing that right hand over the top of the left hand, and then just snuggle the hands on top of the legs. So if this is feeling like too much, you can always just come into that easy pose with the legs crossed in front of each other. or you can bring the heels in a little bit more. Just finding a space here. And then we're going to tuck the chin in towards the chest and round into the upper back. So engaging into the abdominals while we take a few breaths to really stretch into that upper part of the body, upper part of the back. One more nice deep breath. And bringing the head back up. Let's release those arms back overhead. And then we're going to take them out to the T. Opposite arm crosses in front. So now we bring that opposite arm in front, folding onto the legs. And then go ahead and snuggle back down into this cave. Just imagine as if you're taking that breath from the base of the spine. So really down in those low chakras and that root chakra. And we're just nourishing the entirety of the spine with that nice deep breath. Resist the urge to hunch over. We really want to get this stretch into those upper shoulders and into the upper back. So engaging into the belly as we really breathe and stretch here. One more nice deep breath. And then go ahead and unwind, bringing those arms up high. Release the hands down. Soles of the feet come down onto the earth. We're just going to bring the hands behind us. So the palms are facing towards, or the fingertips are facing towards the body. Just want to open the heart here. So you might want to just stay right where you're at, or you might want to get a little bit deeper by bringing it down to the forearms and just pumping that heart up. And so wherever you're at, just notice that you're not tossing the head back. You want to maybe even just look down the bridge of the nose, keeping that head in line with spine and really press that heart open. Making sure to breathe, not hold the breath. And then go ahead and come back up to center. We're just going to reset by bringing the hands around, snuggle the chin in towards chest, similar to what we just did a moment ago. And now we're broadening even more into that back body, into the tops of the shoulders. Take one more breath. Coming out of that little cave, let's come around to our hands and knees. You can use that blanket to pad up the knees if you would like. Bringing knees underneath the hips and the hands underneath the shoulders. Let's right away just go into a few rounds of cat-cow. Just taking your time to feel through the entirety of the spine. Taking your time to fill the body with that breath. Just a few more rotations. Coming into some stillness, we're just going to come into that tabletop position, but I want to make sure that we're bringing that belly button in towards spine, and we're really pressing firmly into all the knuckles, so we're kind of gripping the mat here and not locking out the elbows. Just really feel this good strength right here. On that next inhale, we're going to bring that foot out. Let's start with that right foot, bringing that right foot behind, tuck the toe underneath. Now sending that leg up, bend into that knee, and just hold and hover here for a moment. So foot is bent, excuse me, knee is bent, And we're making sure that we are not rocking to one side or the other. We're just gonna find a few little pulses here. So it doesn't need to be super high. Foot is flexed. And we have a tendency to want to start to rock over to that opposite shoulder, but let's see if we can keep that square shoulder. Just a few more times, little pulses up towards the sky. Perfect. Hold here for just a moment, and then draw that knee in towards the chest, the nose towards the knee, and round. Bring that foot back again. And then once again, round into center. Bringing that foot back towards the head and the head towards the foot, rounding or finding that C curve with the spine a little bit more. And one more time, bringing it in. Bring that knee up a little bit closer to the ribs. Hold and hover. Then step that foot to the front of the mat. At the front of the mat, we can utilize these blocks if you would like to frame that front foot. I'm just going to shift a little bit forward and back, kind of playing into this low lunge. Still warming up the lower part of the body. And then we're just going to shift back into that half split. So peel the toes up off of the earth. If you need to keep a bend in the knees, that's perfectly fine. We're still going to get that good stretch in the hamstrings. Start to send those toes towards the face. And you can come up a little bit higher on these blocks if that feels good. Or you can even lower the nose down towards that knee. Making sure to keep it loose and micro-bend. You don't want to hyperextend that knee out. So just play into this a little bit. It might feel good. Another option is to start to bring that back bottom. I guess we only have one bottom in the back, but bring that bottom towards that back heel. If you are lowered, go ahead and come back again, placing the sole of the foot down onto the earth. Raise the hands up high, coming into our low lunge with the arms raised. Take a breath here. Now that left hand is going to come down to lower back as that right hand reaches back. So we're going to find this really good opening here. So we're reaching back, taking that thumb back, shining the heart up. Release the hand from that lower back, bring it up high, tilt back so that we're in that long spine, and then release the palms down to frame the front foot. Step that front foot back to meet back into our tabletop position. Once we arrive in our tabletop position, I just wag the tail out a few times or maybe find a few rounds of cat-cow. And we're going to do that on the other side. So hands are stacked underneath the shoulders. We check in right here to find that strength, making sure to bring that belly button in towards the spine. Now taking that right foot, left foot, must want to do the right foot all over again. Take that left foot out behind, and then we're just going to bend the knee so that that top thigh is parallel with the earth. And then just little baby pulses, as if we're stepping the foot onto the ceiling and lowering back down. So we're not lowering all the way down towards the earth. We're just finding this little pulse, and then we're checking in and making sure we're staying square in the shoulders. Working to strengthen the hamstrings. We do a lot of stretching of the hamstrings in yoga. Not quite enough of that strengthening. So we're strengthening here. All right, let's go ahead and guide that knee in towards the chest, the nose towards the knee, round into the upper back. Then send that foot back towards the head. We'll see curvature of the spine, head towards the foot. Again, bring it in towards center, round, and puff up in that back body as if we're in plank. And then again, send the foot back. One more time, coming in, and send it back towards the head towards the foot. Bringing that foot all the way in step or carry it to the front of the mat. You can utilize those blocks or that prop that you have again. We're just doing a little shimmy shake dance here, kind of surfing back and forth. Noticing how this side is different than the other, how are those hips feeling, how are those hamstrings feeling. And then setting ourselves up for this half split. Extend that left foot forward, toes are pointing towards the face. You can keep a bend into that knee, keep at least a micro bend, we don't want to lock it out. Couple options, you can bring that nose down towards the knee, or maybe you bring the hands back towards the hips and stay tall. Or that other option is to start to lower the hips down towards that back foot. Still not locking out that knee. We don't want to hyperextension. We want at least a little bit here. And just take a few breaths wherever you're at. Coming out of this wherever you are, go ahead and roll on up. Coming into this low lunge with the arms raised up high. Biceps are by the ears and shoulders are rolling down. We're going to take that right hand to lower back and then tilt back, really bringing that left thumb back and opening out the heart more here. Notice what's going on with that front knee. Is it starting to travel in towards the pinky toe side? Imagine as if you're squeezing that knee out towards the center of those middle three toes, and we're still, sounds a little backwards, as even though we're bringing that foot out, we're actively squeezing into the inner thighs. Just take a few more breaths here. Back bends are very energizing, so you might notice that energy rising. Releasing the hand from the lower back, bring it up tall, and then we're going to hinge at the waist, bring the hands down to frame that front foot. Step that back foot back once again, coming into that tabletop position, just a few rounds of either those hip sways or cat cows, whatever we need to do here to release any tension in the hips or in that back. Perfect. Coming into that neutral tabletop position, let's walk the hands in front of the shoulders. Tuck toes underneath, and then we're going to send those hips up towards the sky, coming into downward facing dog. Bending generously into that right knee as we place that left heel down towards the earth. And then we're going to switch out, just very slow pedal here. Opposite foot comes down towards the earth as we bend into that opposite knee. Let's do that one more time on each side. Really taking your time to get that good stretch into the calf, into the Achilles, into the ankles. And then sink both heels down towards the earth. Take a few breaths here. Imagine as those triceps are kissing towards the heart and the biceps are coming towards the front of the mat. Notice when we engage in that belly, how it takes off some of the weight in the shoulders. That is heavy and down by the biceps. Another breath. And then we're going to walk the hands back towards the feet. Cautious of any props if you have that blanket in the way. And then we meet in our forward fold at the back of the mat. Nice bend into the knees as we drape the upper part of the body down. Take a couple breaths, really releasing the head, releasing the neck. And then very, very slowly, really pressing into the feet, bending into the knees, we're going to roll all the way up to standing. Whew, actually warming up, yay. When we come into our standing, I'm just going to shake the wrists out a little bit. So really good way to get our energy raised up, but it's also really good for our hands and for our wrists. So just a few moments of shaking the hands up, the side, maybe down. Just Just releasing all tension in those hands and wrists. Just a couple more times. Shake, shake, shake. Perfect. Find some stillness. Take the hands out to the side. Widen those palms nice and big. Nice big jazz fingers here. Making sure not to lock out the knees and press into all four corners of the feet. Inhale, hands meet above the head. And then exhale, start to bring the hands all the way through midline, tracing a line with those prayer hands until we fold all the way forward down into our fold. Place the hands onto the earth, and we're just gonna walk the hands forward, coming into our down dog. And this down dog, take an inhale in, and an exhale out. Right heel raises skyward, three-legged dog. Right knee comes in towards chest, round and hover for a moment, and then send that leg high again, three-legged dog. Once again, knee comes in towards center, round the nose towards the knee, hold and hover, then extend the leg long. One more time, bend that knee, bring it in towards center, then extend the leg long into three-legged dog. Step that foot down, replacing it on the earth, and we'll go to that other side. Left heel raises skyward. Make sure we're not twisting in the upper body. We're staying firmly squared in the shoulders. Knee comes in towards center, nose comes in towards that knee. Extend long. Again, in towards center, extend long. Last time, knee comes in towards center, hold, hover, extend long. Release the foot back down into our down dog, and then we're just gonna walk the hands coming all the way back to the back of the mat in our forward fold. Hands come to shins or tops of the thighs, and we find a halfway lift. Then melt back down into our fold. Bend the knees, cross the arms, raise all the way up overhead, and then gentle palms into heart center. Collect your breath here, take an inhale in, and then exhale out. Inhale, hands raise. Exhale, melt all the way back down into our fold. Place the hands onto the earth and walk all the way back into our downward facing dog. Take an inhale in and an exhale out. Right heel raises skyward again, three-legged dog. Knee comes in towards chest, hold and hover. This time we step it to the front of the mat. We're gonna pivot on that back foot, lining up the heels here. Big transition to come all the way up into our warrior two. If you need to adjust the foot, go ahead and do so. Take the arms out into this nice wide T and bend into that front knee so that it's at a 90-degree angle. Gaze is over the front shoulder. Take those pinkies back as if they're pressing against an imaginary wall behind you. Belly button draws in, and that tailbone, instead of tipping it forward or rounding in this big kind of sway in the back, see if we can stay tall in that upper spine. Beautiful. Bending that forearm, bringing it down to that front leg. Back arm comes all the way up and extends overhead, extended side angle. So that palm can be facing down or it can be facing away from the body, feeling this good stretch all the way from that knife edge of the foot that we're pressing down into the earth to the arm that is raised overhead. Take another breath here. And then using that arm to help guide you back up, come again into our warrior two. So we're going to come into a twist here, and we're going to revolve our triangle. So straighten the front leg, bring the arms up high, and then we're going to twist the torso towards the front of the mat, coming all the way down. You can use a block here if you'd like. We're going to take that back arm, so that would be our left hand, down to block earth or leg, and then we're going to bring that right hand up. So revolving our triangle here. Front leg is straight but not locked out. Take a good breath. And then we're just going to come out of this twist, bringing that hand down, sweeping up, bending into the front knee. Come once again into our warrior two. Beautiful. Hands come to the hip line. Turn that foot, walk it out. So we're in a lunge for just a moment. Then step that back foot to meet front foot. Pedal it out for a moment. Inhale, fingertips raise. Exhale, melt all the way down into a fold. Halfway lift, and then melt to fold. Bending the knees, cross the arms, raise all the way up tall, and then gentle palms into heart center. Part the legs so that they are at about hip width apart. So imagine as if we have, or you can even try it, put two fists between the toe mounds to make sure that we're at hip width apart. Hands come into heart center, and then go ahead and have a seat down into our chair pose. So this is a little bit different than when we zip the legs together. We're just going to work on some strengthening and some balancing here. Hands are at heart center. See and make sure that we are distributing the weight evenly between both of the legs. Weight is towards the heels and towards that back body so that those toes are not gripping or locking in. Take a breath here. And then shift the weight over to that right foot as we glide that left knee up and back down. Now the weight is in that opposite foot and bring that knee up and back down. So we're just doing this kind of crouching march here. Up, down, up with that right knee, down, up with that left knee. Let's hold here for a moment. And then we're going to take a hold of that knee with the hands, slowly raising up and squeeze the knee in towards the chest. Nice job. Take strength here. Holding on to that knee with that inner hand. So we're going to hold on to it with the right hand. Left hand is going to come back. And we're going to twist away from the body. Keep breathing. Lots of strength in that standing leg. Flexing that foot, then coming back, squeeze the knee in towards the chest, and release the foot down. March it out. Take a few moments to kind of breathe, maybe shifting the arms side to side. And then we're going to go into that warrior two series on the other side. Then we'll come back and get into that chair fun again. Chair fun, right? At the top of the mat, we meet. Inhale, fingertips come up. Exhale, melt all the way down into our fold. Halfway lift with that flat back. Then melt once again to fold. Bend the knees, come all the way back up, tall mountain. And then gentle palms into heart center. This time that left foot stays forward. And that right foot steps back. We come into our warrior two on this side. Hands come out into this nice wide T, and we bend into that front knee. Bringing that forearm down to the top of the thigh. Left hand comes up, right hand at the back of my mat now. Right hand comes up overhead. You can turn the hand down, or you can turn it out to face away from the body. Feeling this good connection. Staying tall, so we're not collapsing down or forward. We're using that forearm to stay nice and tall. Beautiful. Use that top hand to come back again up into our warrior two. Now straightening that front leg, we're just going to turn. So now that back hand is coming down to block or the inside of the ankle, and we're coming into our revolved triangle. Shoulders stack. Leg is straight but not locked out. Take your time to bend the knee And come back again into that warrior two. Hands come to the hip, pivot on that toe, coming into a lunge for just a moment, then step that foot to the front of the mat. March it out for a moment, and then we're gonna go into that chair again. Feet are hip width apart, hands come into heart center, and have a seat down. Making sure that those knees are not extending over the toes. We want to keep them at that 90-degree angle and roll the shoulders down and away from the ears. All of the weight now is going to come over to that left foot as we bring that right knee up. Lower it back down. So this kind of crouching march, opposite knee comes up and down. Again, knee raises up, lowers down. Left knee raises, lowers, right knee raises. Go ahead and capture that knee with the hands and slowly come up to standing. Flex that foot, holding on to the knee with that inner hand. We're going to twist, open. Breathe. Hand comes back around, release the foot, and shake it out. Pedal it out, maybe add the arms. Meeting at the front of the mat, inhaling up, exhale to fold. Plant the hands onto earth, step back into our downward facing dog. Hips are raised high. Lower the knees down to the earth. And then lower the forearms down to the earth. We're just going to come into our puppy pose here. So keeping that tailbone right, or that bottom right above the knees, rolling the heart and the forehead down. Feeling that broadening in the back of the shoulders. You can even walk the elbows out a little bit wider. Imagine as if you're melting your heart down. Take another breath or two here. Press into those palms and very slowly rise up for just a moment. And we're just going to keep walking those hands back. If this is too much on the knees, you can just come around into easy pose. Hands are coming around and just sit in our easy pose with the legs crossed. We're going to bring those hands behind us, just like we did towards the beginning. And we're just going to open the heart here. So once again, let's check in and make sure we're not tossing that head back, that we're keeping that head in line with the spine, and maybe we tuck the chin in slightly so our gaze can be down the nose. For this good broadening now into the collarbones, good stretch into the biceps. Coming out of this camel variation, we're just going to slowly walk the hands forward, widening the knees, big toes to touch, and sink down into our child's pose. Take a few breaths, nice restorative deep breaths here. Peel the forehead up off of the earth, keeping hands in front of the shoulders, walk the knees back underneath the hips, turn the toes under, and send the hips up, downward facing dog. Inhaling in, exhaling out. This time, that left heel raises skyward, three-legged dog. Knee comes in towards nose, hold and hover for just a moment. Step or carry the foot to the front of the mat. Pivot that back foot so that the heels are lined with each other. Big transition, pulling ourselves up into warrior two. Bending into that front knee, sinking down. And take a moment to gaze over that front fingertips. And breathe. Bending at the elbow, bringing that forearm down to the earth, or not down to the earth, down to the top of the thigh as we stretch and reach overhead into our extended side angle here. Really feel that elongation, that big breath into side body so we feel the rib cage expand. Top arm comes back and we raise into our warrior two again. Straighten the front leg. We're going to pivot that back arm so we're twisting, bringing that front arm around and down. Cartwheel down to the inside of the leg. Revolve our triangle. Stack the shoulders here. Front leg is straight but not locked out. Breath is fluid. Taking that top arm all the way around, we're just going to swish back up, coming into our warrior two. Hands kind of the hip line, pivot on that back foot, find that lunge position for a moment, then step the foot to the front of the mat. Inhale in, exhale out. Feet are hip width apart, hands come to heart, and sit down into that chair. All of the weight is going to go into that right foot as we lift that left knee up. Lower it back down. Opposite leg raises up. Lower it back down. Again, raise the knee up. Lower down. Raise that knee up. Lower down. Taking a hold of that right knee. We're just going to slow come up to standing. Squeeze that knee in towards the chest. Right hand is going to hold on, or excuse me, left hand, inner hand is going to hold on to that leg as we twist, bringing that right hand behind. Option to keep squeezing that knee in, or maybe we straighten that front leg, coming into a dancing Shiva. Squeeze that knee in once more. Release the twist, release the foot, and march it out. Nice job. At the front of our mat, we take a nice deep inhale in, and an exhale to fold. Halfway lift, and then melt back down. Bend into the knees, cross the arms, shoot all the way up into our tall mountain, and then gentle palms into heart center. Right foot stays forward this time, left foot steps back, and we come once again into our warrior two. Bending into that front knee, but keeping it at a 90-degree angle so it's not going over the ankle here. Forearm comes down to the top of the thigh as that back arm swims up and over into our extended side angle. Really shine that armpit chest forward, opening into the heart. Use that upper arm to help pull yourself back up again into warrior two. Start to straighten that front arm, or front leg. Back arm comes around. So we're twisting here for a moment, and then we bring that hand down to inner side of the foot, or hold on to ankle or block. We're going to revolve our triangle. Front leg is straight but not locked. See if you can stack those shoulders and open into this twist a little bit more. And then float the hand down and press back up into warrior two. One more time with those chairs. Let's turn and pivot so we come into our lunge. Step that back foot up to meet front foot. Feet are hip width apart, hands come to heart, and have a seat down. Weight is into that right foot. We're going to raise that left knee up off of the earth. I guess I should say foot. Knee is in. Release that foot down and march, bringing that right foot up and lower it, step back down. Opposite knee raises, lowers down. Last time on this side, knee raises, lowers down. Take a hold of that left knee, left knee, as we start to slowly raise it all the way up to standing, holding on to that knee with that inner hand. So holding on to it with the right hand. Left hand floats back and we twist. Option to release that leg and bring it forward, coming into a dancing Shiva. Lots of balance. This is our last challenge, you got it. Go ahead and bend that knee, revolve the arms around, squeeze that knee in, release the foot down, and march it out. Giving yourself a little pat on the back. That was a lot of work. Good job. Inhale, hands come up high. Exhale, fold and melt back down. Last forward fold. Hands come down to the earth, and we step back into our downward facing dog. Lower the knees down to the earth. Then we're just gonna swim those legs around and just come onto our bum for just a minute. Bringing the hands alongside the shins, alongside the knees, just slow roll. Take your time. Last little bit of work into the abdominals. Coming all the way down to the backside. When we arrive on our backside, go ahead and snuggle those knees into chest. Give them a good squeeze and hug here. And then just find a little bit of movement. Drawing circles on the ceiling in one direction and then the other. We're gonna come into our happy baby. So yogi's choice to either take the knife edge of the feet, or maybe you just hook those peace fingers onto the big toes. Maybe just hold on to ankles or even your leggings. Squeeze those knees down towards the armpit chest. And just like the posture talks about being happy baby, find a little bit of happiness in this movement, in this posture. Maybe straightening one leg while we bend the other. Maybe widening or bringing soles of feet together. Just find a little play here. Enjoying your movement. And we're just capturing our breath, slowing it down after that standing postures. And then go ahead and bring the soles of the feet together, knees out to the side. They're still skyward, side skies. Squeeze the shape in. And then take the hands to the outside of the knees, bring them in towards each other. Give another hug and squeeze towards the chest. Might feel good to bring the nose towards the knees into this little ball. And then go ahead and relax, release, appreciate this Shavasana, however you'd like to open yourself up, release yourself down, and just soak in the nourishment of your practice, appreciating all the hard work that you've done for your body. Tongue removes from the roof of the mouth. Relax the face. Relax the jaw. Relax the shoulders and the hands. Relax the back and feel the support of the earth beneath you. Turn those toes out if you are long, or if you have the knees bent, that's perfectly fine too. Just take a few moments just to breathe and be here. You're going to invite a little deeper breath, so just finding a little more depth in your breath. Very gently start to nod the head from shoulder to shoulder. Taking the thumb, we're just going to glide it across gently each one of the fingertips. Now clasp the hands into a gentle fist and release. Into a fist again and release. Into a fist once more and find a rotation in the wrists. Reverse the rotation. Start to invite some movement in the toes and in the ankles, rolling them out. Just any of this movement to invite you back to this present moment. And when we're ready, we'll extend the hands overhead, point the toes down towards the base of the mat. Reach and stretch, 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 stretch. Open mouth, exhale, release, and let it all go. Bend the knees, place the soles of the feet on the earth one more time. And then we're just going to rotate over to our fetal position. Pausing for just one more moment. Noticing the difference in our body from where we began. Support your body with that hand as you press yourself back up to seated. And when we come into seated, let's bring those palms together back at heart center. Close the eyes down. And take another deep inhale in. And exhale, sigh it all out. Thank you so much for joining me, sharing your practice and your time. Have a fantastic rest of your day, and I'll see you again soon. Namaste.